Hello, everybody. This is the Section 214 of BC Alliance podcast. I'm your host, Ascent, and my crew is back together again with
We're
JS
back.
and Hammer. Yeah, we're all back in the saddle today, but
I would like to
I
congratulate
wish,
Ascent. You're on an Iron Man streak right now.
yeah, I did mention in the chat that, yeah, I'm trying to do like the whole season, just being able to record. So far, doing pretty good. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
hope to
mean,
keep
I'm
that up. But
I'm back.
yeah,
I mean, I missed the last 2 weeks because of various reasons, various bits of travel, and I think those are two games that were worth missing because then we worsened our record to 5-5 while I was gone, and then you guys held the fort here
Yeah.
in the podcast. But I'm back for
And
today's
yeah, it was
episode.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was down to just me and then two, and now we're back to Sweden. So
didn't get
the
any better, did they?
sequential.
5-6.
No,
five
no,
and six.
no. I really wish we. I really wish this was a more jubilant reunion together. But
It's not,
yeah,
but that's
it's
why we're
not.
here to make sense of it all, even when we're sad and maybe a little bit raging, but that's okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
only
I mean,
consolation is being here.
Exactly.
yeah, we
And the
get to
pregame, the pregame, the pregame meal was good too.
mm, yeah, I had steak and mashed potatoes, and I had teriyaki steak and mashed potatoes for dinner. It was
Oh,
pretty
that
good.
sounds good.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. I want to take a
Uh,
moment to talk about my lunch today. I went to New
mm,
York Fries and had a butter chicken poutine, and
Oh,
that was
hello.
oh,
incredible. That
That
was
sounds
so
good.
good. Yeah,
yeah.
go to New
That's
York
gonna.
Fries, get a butter chicken poutine.
I was gonna say that's gonna get you warmed up for the Spice Shack poutine in New West,
I
right?
know.
That
I
I'm
will see
used
you
to.
there in a week.
Yeah.
That'll be
There you
fun.
go.
Oh,
I had chicken strips from bin 4, and it was really good.
chicken tendies.
Oh, you told us about, yeah, you told us about Bin 4.
It's so
We're
good.
planning out our Victoria trip for next weekend.
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean,
You could
yeah.
tell that we're all sad about the game when we're talking about
We're
food.
talking about food. We're talking about everything except the game, but unfortunately, we have to talk about the 34 to 27 think loss uh, for the gut check. Yeah, this was I'd say overall, I mean, I hate to say this because normally, as an experienced sports fan, I hate having to constantly find positives in a losing streak. But I mean, there are positives to be had in this game, and I mean, work was obviously much better in this game than the past one. He, he was accurate on more of his throws than the last one, right? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Much better outing, but there were still a lot of key moments where the team just wilted under pressure and
yeah,
Yeah.
couldn't get the job done.
I think of just interceptions in the wrong places and fumbles just immediately after. I mean, especially fumbles just right off the bat, right? Just to
The
start,
number
and
of turnovers was the big thing. Like
Yeah. It
what was
was
the number of turnovers? Like two or three we
too
had.
many.
one interception, two fumbles. So I think it was three turnovers.
Yeah,
They
that's
all
too
Uh,
many.
happened like right near each other. Like we wouldn't get the ball picked off and then get the ball back like 10 seconds later.
yeah, I
It
think
was comical.
yeah, the second quarter was the worst for to watch for us. I mean, it was just
So over.
we
We're so back.
we watched the lead just evaporate instantly once the second quarter started. Pretty much, right? It was just
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously getting into the recap. I mean, this is going to be a little bit longer of an episode because unlike the past losses where I could shorten it down to like 45 minutes, I think this will be a decent 55 minutes or so because we've got a lot to talk about this
Yeah.
game and also a upcoming game as well. So
I just
uh,
wanted to pitch in my own thoughts. I mean, I was arguing, not really arguing, but I was trying to convince some fans in another Discord that Nathan Rourke didn't actually play a bad game because of his stat line. I mean, we showed flashes of him actually catching up to the speed of the CFL game. The first quarter,
Oh,
where we went up 10 to 3,
the
11 to
first
3.
drive, especially. He completed all his passes on that first drive.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was a little bit tense about that because it was the same thing for the last game where he did look good in his first drive, right? But in this one, I mean, he had a few good drives, right? But I mean, it
I mean,
was
this one
just a
actually led
similar
to
ending.
points.
Just objectively, the similar ending. It was a loss.
Yeah.
But
In the end it was, but I thought he did in general he looked stronger. His throws were more crisp, they were tighter. His running game was better, but in the end he still made some poor decisions that led to picks.
running,
Yeah.
Couple of fumbles, which some of them maybe not fully his fault because the
yeah,
O-line gave up a
yeah,
lot
the
of
O
pressure, but
line.
ultimately, he needs to be able to hold on to the ball a bit better and not let those plays happen because, that was
Yeah.
frustrating to watch,
We
unfortunately.
wanted to come to one big conclusion in the end. It wasn't Nathan's fault that we lost the game. He could have played better, and he didn't play at his best. But it was on the defense. They were Swiss cheese.
There's no one reason why the team lost the game.
Well,
Yeah, I
no,
think it
but
was overall a
yeah,
team loss, right? I mean, I'd say I give it at least 60% on defense and then 35 on the offense and then 5% on special teams. Even though I thought Williams,
yeah,
Williams was great.
Williams there,
I think
and
it was his best
then
game of the season.
yeah,
Sad thing is, it still doesn't matter.
yeah. I
Still
mean,
a loss.
still hasn't scored touchdowns. I mean, I was waiting for Williams to do the former team kind of boost where like, oh, I'm gonna show my former team what I'm all about here, right? But I mean,
I feel
you
like
could
we
also
look
Yeah.
say
away
that with
every time
Richie
he gets on a
Leone
run.
too, but you could
Oh,
also say that with
Leone.
Richie Leone. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that was a bad memory.
yeah.
Well,
He hit a
um,
long one today.
yeah,
He did.
and I guess I mean, another couple things in the gut check. I guess for one thing, I'll mention that I mean, yes, BC falls below 500 at 5-6, and
That's just crazy.
it feels it just this feels like an August from hell, right? It was, and again, and because we're playing against Ottawa, I know as a Senators fan all too well of how a bad month can derail a season, right? Especially
And
in
that's normally October for you guys. First
November,
month of the
actually.
season.
It's November.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's November that's derailing the Sens season constantly. But here, I really hope it's not August because it's the
Yeah.
third month. It's the
The
third month,
only the
and
only
I'll
real
say,
saving grace is the fact
yeah,
that the whole West has been so mediocre this year.
except for Winnipeg. I mean, Winnipeg's been climbing up.
Well, they were really cold at the start. Now they're really hot.
So now
So
they're
in the end,
hot.
it
Yeah,
balances out to mediocre.
We had
But
5 straight weeks. We could have gone first in the division because Riders lost 4 and tied 1 game. And we've lost all 5 of these
all
games.
five of
so if
them.
we
Like
win, two of
no,
those,
but nobody wants to win. Saskatchewan and BC just doesn't want to win the West. I
Yeah.
guess. So
It
just
was just
feel
crazy
like it.
coming off like every week the Riders lose and then it's like we have another chance here. We lose that other chance. Like
It's, oh
now we've
man,
lost
look,
the season
we're getting
series to
so we're
Winnipeg.
getting
We've lost it to
yeah.
Edmonton, which at this point, that may come into play at some point. It wouldn't
wow.
surprise me.
We're getting so much help from the East, and now when it comes time for BC to help themselves, it's so frustrating to not see them, just take advantage because Ottawa's not on a bye week, right? They're not coming off a
Yeah.
bye week. And it's both
We got
teams
help
have.
from God. We got Rourke. That's not saved us yet.
Literally.
Yeah, we're
Well,
getting help
I
from.
always knew he wouldn't, be an, automatic savior for the team. The issues go far beyond the quarterback, and I knew bringing him in wouldn't. It might bring some life into the team, but it wouldn't, fix it overnight, and that has not happened, just as I thought it wouldn't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're a little more cynical than me. I was kind of like, well, I mean, if we had continued with Dolegala, I would have been
Oh,
cynical, but yeah, Dolegala's gone. But I mean, yeah, just this is yeah. um, I guess
lost the lead to speechless.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. To finish up the gut check, I'll just say, I mean, again, we're hoping to come into the game where we're all going to be at for Touchdown Pacific next week. A little more jubilant, but now we're just going in. We're just like extremely nervous, saying like, "Oh God, our season might be lost if we lose
if they
again."
blow
Right?
this high profile
If
game with
this high
lots
profile
of people
game, where
coming, the
yeah, everybody
signature
bought
event of the
tickets.
season,
Yeah,
right?
everybody bought tickets before the season started. They were super hyped about this, right?
And
Now
now
How
I
we're
don't know
crazy
just
is
what
it?
kind.
We have 2 of us going across the water, and then we have you,
mm,
Jacob, who lives in
Yeah.
Victoria. So
Yeah.
special for everyone, and they got to make it special with the win, but it's not looking
I don't
good.
have much confidence in that right now.
Nope.
Either way, I guess we can move into the stats now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, since yeah, I flipped the order of the stats
I
read,
can
so I
have a
guess
read. I can
yeah.
start with the BC stats, I guess, and have
Yeah,
a
you
review.
can
Yep.
you can do the offense and
Jump
then
into the defense if you want, sure. So our boy Nathan Ork, better this week, 22 for 31, 234 yards and 1 interception. So like that's better. His longest
Quite
throw
average.
was 26, and he had 63 rushing yards on 4 carries, but 51 of those were on that one amazing play, which we
Yeah.
haven't seen a quarterback run like that since, well, Nathan Ork,
Lule. Oh,
2022.
I can say that all
Lule
three of
before
us,
that even, yeah.
we were all watching the game. We were just like, go, go, go. Like he evaded so many
That was
tackles.
probably the most exciting play of the game,
Yeah, that
It
was
was.
even though it didn't lead
that
to a
got me out of my
touchdown.
seat for that. Yeah, that was
I
Yeah,
was out of my
but
seat too.
that was great. Stanback had 15 carries for 99 yards, just one short of 100.
one short. Yeah.
Almost there, buddy. 15 yards was his longest run. Mackey also had 3 carries for 3 yards and 2 touchdowns, which were all down on the 1 yard line, but yeah, it's
We
fine.
love him.
12 points off of that. And then
Fallback
moving,
touchdown to him, awesome, right there. I
oh, of
like that.
course. And then moving on to our receivers, Hollins had 2 catches for 18 yards. The
On 3 targets. Yeah.
on 3 targets. Yeah, McInnes targeted 5 times, caught all 5 of them, 79 yards. Really
They
good.
were cooking on that first drive.
26 was his longest. Eberhart targeted 6 times, caught it 5 times, 61 yards. That's also not going to complain about that. Hatcher was targeted 7 times, caught it 4 times, 44 yards. So okay. Katoy, 4 for 5, 29 yards. So
On
so
13, yeah.
yeah.
And then everybody had averages between well, 6 points. Well, yeah, 6.6 and 15.8, right? So I mean, yeah, Nathan Work was spreading the ball around, decently on the offense, right? But just not enough for 100-yard games, which I wanted to see more of, right? But it's been a long time since we've seen this receiving core had like 1 or 2 100-yard games. Like the days of before the Saskatchewan went on, like long gone, right? I mean, it feels like ancient
Yeah.
history, right?
Oh, that Saskatchewan
6
game.
weeks ago.
McInnes getting like what, 2,000 yards? I don't remember.
200
But
plus
yeah,
yards.
yeah, it was insane
That's
that game.
long over.
And this core is certainly capable of doing that.
Yeah,
That's
so yeah, the defense now. So
defense. Manny Rugamba with our only interception of the game. That was a good interception. Pretty bad throw from Drew Brown. 2 fumbles. The fumbles were crazy this game. Varga and Taval.
especially in the second quarter, yeah.
Yeah, no turnover on downs.
None of those, usually.
Rugamba with 9 tackles, Elay with 7, Varga with 6. Rest of team got less than 4. I couldn't really name any notable tackles today. Could you?
No.
I really couldn't. And
No,
I
well,
think
no,
I
but
watched the whole thing.
but notable tackles were the missed ones, right? They were
Oh
Saints
yeah,
level.
100%.
They were Saints level Minneapolis Miracle missed tackles, right? Like I was mad, right? I was just
Especially on kickoffs as well, or punts like that. They were so bad. Swiss cheese.
But yeah,
Special
special teams,
teams.
unfortunately,
We don't want to
I
say
put an
this.
emoji here.
Yeah, Sean White was 4 for 5, breaking his streak of 47 straight. Well, a little round of applause for him getting this far, but that
Yes.
hurt. Yeah.
Unfortunate because the kick was blocked, but it went past the line of scrimmage. So it counts as a field goal attempt. If
I
it didn't get past the
thought-
line of scrimmage, then it wouldn't have counted as anything. And then yeah, that did lead to a rouge, which I'll get into later.
Yeah, 2 for 2 on extra points, and then Flintoff with 2 punts, averaging 40 yards.
So that's pretty good.
Our
80
Terry
yards total.
Williams session of the
Terry
game.
Williams.
Yeah,
He actually had a good game. Yeah, 7
no
return
touchdowns,
catches,
but
no touchdowns, a total of 157 yards, averaging 23.20 on kickoffs and 20.5 on punt returns. That's
That is
insane.
how we do it, boy.
Long gone are the days. That's 20? That's more than a no yards penalty. Good for him.
that's more.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the line of the show right
That's a
there.
good line. Yeah. Just
Oh, if only
like
it was a win. That was special.
If it was
I
if it was a
know.
win, it would have been Williams redemption or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
If it was a win, that would have been the title of our episode more than a no yards penalty.
No, I know what the
No.
title's gonna be, and it's probably gonna be something really disparaging. But you'll find that out in the title when I type it. But
There you go.
yeah, so yeah, that was the BC team stats. So I'll go on to the Ottawa stats, which in the notes here I've only left it as default black because
Oh,
because
fair
I
enough.
think because the Senators and have their primary color is black now. So now I already used red for Calgary, and I think for Montreal I'll use kind of like a maroon when we get to that. But yeah, here will just be yeah, here will just be black. So yeah, so I mean for Ottawa's stats, Drew Brown went 28 for 37 for 390 yards, 3 touchdowns, and
Jeez.
interception, and 10.5 average per throw. Quam had a short yardage touchdown as well. I mean, short yardage touchdowns seem to be in like the name of the game for today too, but there was also Ottawa's offense was just lights, just scenes ahead, right? Just
Night and day
far
compared to
less,
last year.
yeah, far more deadly offensive unit than the past few years for sure. And again, for Ottawa fans, if it wasn't for the expensive lines, I mean, I'm happy for the Ottawa fans. I mean, they suffered through a lot after the Grey Cup win, right? Um, yeah. So yeah, Drew Brown. I mean, I mean, it was clear. Bob Dice gave. It was clear he was the QB1 after the inspirational Matholi win from last week, right? So yeah, he just made it clear Drew Brown was QB1, and then again he proved it almost a 400-yard game, right? So. Uh, So for running back, Armstead had 15 carries for 52 yards, no touchdown, and 3.5 average, 11 yard one was his longest, and also tacked on 4 catches for 34 yards, 8.5 average, and longest was 14. So I mean
Lethal.
his stats were, I mean, a little down in terms compared to Stanback, but I mean, again, he had his offensive contributions, but certainly, once again, the opposing team's receivers have been gashing us now lately. I mean, it's given Ryan Phillips fits. I mean, here are the receivers. Hardy, 11 catches for 12 targets for 114 yards. His longest catch was 26. Ackland had 3 catches on 6 targets for 43 yards and a touchdown. Marno, he only had 3 catches on 3 targets, but he made them. He was like their version of Eckhart, where had 95 yards and 2
I kept
touchdowns.
wondering, why is Mitch Marner playing in this game? Whenever they kept saying his name.
Marno, yeah. Oh man, Marno on the Send would be a dream, but I mean, I don't know how Sens fan would feel about that.
We're Leafs fans, but we don't care about them.
No, we don't. We all have a consensus about the Leafs here.
We do.
mhm. Yeah.
Stay
So
tuned for a future bonus episode. We'll discuss it in great depth.
I think after the CFL season over, I mean, like every month we'll certainly
Hockey
do a
podcast.
little roundup.
Anyways, go on.
Anyways, Mardner went 3 for 3 for 95 and 2 touchdowns, and longest catch was a 64-yard touchdown pass, which I hated. um, yeah, Addison 5 catches on 6 targets for 92 yards, 18.4 average, and longest was 42. And Dominic Rhymes, I mean,
Dominic Rhymes.
yeah, former Lion. I mean, he I was worried about him having an impactful game, but he only had like the 1 catch for 9 yards and 4 targets.
Damn.
So unlike Lucky Whitehead for Winnipeg, I mean, he didn't have he had the lowest impact in this game, but everybody else was so solid and great, right? It was
Man, just the amount of good receivers that have left us this year, but also to maintain a still good receiving core. I know we didn't have a good game on that front, but on paper we have some very good receivers after a lot of them left. So
yeah, I
shows
mean,
that our team scouting.
I'm hoping again, I mean, the offense for BC didn't have, I mean, they didn't have their best game again. I mean, they didn't have the 100+ yards that we're used to seeing in the first half of the season. But I mean, yeah, now it's happening to us now. We're getting blown up on defense here. And yeah, Ottawa's well, and speaking of defense, Ottawa's defense had 3 sacks that went to Wakefield Webb and Cleon Lang. And Cleon Lang, that's like a name that I keep hearing for years, right? Been around. Yeah, and then Ottawa had the one interception by Webb as well. So Webb had 1 sack and an interception. That's pretty good day for him. One fumble recovery. No turnovers on downs. I mean, for both teams, no turnovers on downs. Yes, and Santos Knox had 8 tackles. Griffin had 6 tackles, and the rest of the team had less than 5. I mean, there was fewer missed tackles for Ottawa's defense than BC, and that's what won them the game pretty much, right? Just you know, and then special teams. Ward, I mean, it's funny how we have 2 of the most accurate kickers in the league going up against each other, and both of them have missed a field goal. It's kind of funny because, yeah, but Ward's missed field goal was a legit miss rather than, White's blocked kick, but blocked kick.
It was the one that hit the upright.
Yeah, it hit
Doink.
the upright. So yeah, it was a slight doink. I mean, I didn't see if it was a doink. I thought it was going to be a rouge, but yeah, it was a dead ball. But yeah, Ward went 2 for 3, and yeah, one of the field goals he hit was his season-long 54. So that was
Not bad.
Irritating.
about irritating. Yeah, he went 2 for 2 on extra points, and then Leone, the other former Lion, other than Limes, had 2 punts. He had a similar stat to Flintoff. Actually, he had just 2 punts and averaging 40.
Oh wow,
That's super odd.
crazy.
Hunters both have the same stats, right? Just yes, probably never gonna see that again.
Deadman.
And Deadman, yeah, Deadman. I mean, he's pretty electrifying for Ottawa, but I mean, he only had 3 return catches on special teams and only 1 punt return for 12 yards and 2 kickoff returns for the longest being like a 32-yard run back. I mean, the special teams coverage was okay on Deadman, and of course also Pickett as well. I mean, he had his time in the sun for 22 yards. 44 yards from 2 kickoff returns. So yeah, that's not bad. I mean, the special team coverage, I mean, did okay, right? But I think the main way BC lost was on defense. Just so much zone coverage and missed tackles that kept leading Ottawa to have long
and
offensive
I hate to say
plays,
penalties too, because later in the game, I forget when exactly it was, but we had stopped them, and they would have been forced to kick a field goal. But then there was a sloppy illegal contact penalty way away from the ball. It was the correct
with
call.
the fourth quarter.
It was the correct call, but it kept the drive alive, led to a touchdown. Right, and if you
Yeah.
take
There was a fact that happened. Yeah, there was a fact that happened, and we thought, okay, good, they'll kick a field goal, but then they will contact, and then eventually
there was a clear tug on the jersey. It was the right call. It's just I have little time for those like stupid penalties that come at those costs. Like there are rare times when it's going to be the right thing to commit a penalty, like deliberately taking a PI call to prevent a touchdown. Sure. That's like the rare time where it's going to be good, but most of them it's not, and that was one of them. But overall, yeah, both teams took 7 penalties, 57 yards for the Lions, 68 for Ottawa, and then time of possession 31-08 for Ottawa, 28-52 for BC. BC dominated time of possession in the first quarter. They had it for almost 11 minutes in the first quarter.
Yeah, and then
but it didn't lead
tracks.
to much in the end.
Didn't that? Yeah, actually, this reminded me a lot of the Toronto game, the first game of the season, where it's just Toronto had a little bit more time possession, but yeah, when they had the ball, I mean, they have more of an affect on the score than we did, right?
So what that means is essentially after the first quarter, the Lions had the ball about a third of the time the rest of the way.
Wow, yeah, it's ugly, and it tracks.
That's like 5-6 minutes per quarter, the final 3 quarters.
Well, the third quarter was especially bad for that.
Yeah, 2 and out, 2 and out, 2 and out.
Yeah, yeah, and then well, yeah, that's so well, that's a stats read. So I guess I mean, usually, well, I mean, usually in lots like this, we would be skimming through quite a bit of it, but I think yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this one. So again,
Yeah.
as JS mentioned in the first quarter, well, first of all, I said yeah, Drew Brown confirmed in a quarterback for the Red Blacks, and then BC receives the ball. Williams returned it to the 40. So on BC's first drive, they were poised. They were looking great. Right, Abrahart was converting for 15, McInnes for 12. Warwick also avoided a sack, and then he ran for 8. So that was the first of his good ones that I liked there. And then McInnes had, extended his arms up high to catch. And then Hollins gets a PI call on McGee to get to the 1 yard line, and then Mackey converts the short yardage to take a fast lead, 7-0, right?
And
And
everything in our chat was like, "What an amazing start! What a start!"
yeah,
Like all
I was so
caps, everybody
happy.
was happy.
Yep.
yeah, we're pumped, we're hyped, we're like, oh yeah, we feel like we can go 14-0, right?
One of you said like if we started like this in the Grey Cup, you would think you'd win it.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
yeah,
no, I said if we had, this kind of offense in the first half in the Grey Cup, no doubt we would win that, right? Just
Yeah.
we could take it to the house, and even if the defense ceded a bunch of points, I still think, yeah, if the BC offense was looking like this for the whole Grey Cup, yeah, it would be like 40 points or
if they played like that every single game, or even 80% of the time, we're winning the Grey Cup. I would bet $1,000 on it right now
The
because
shame that
yeah,
only has to happen for one drive per game.
one
Seems
drive,
like it
yeah, I
yeah.
happens
know.
often.
Can we score 20 points in one drive? That'd be nice.
Yeah, and of course, well, Ottawa, on Ottawa's first drive,
Their
Dedmon,
first pass was 42 yards.
yeah, their first pass from Brown to Addison was 42 yards. I went, oh my god, are they going to squander
Yeah.
this momentum immediately? But thankfully, well, Hardy does convert for 10 on a run, and then eventually Armstead had a pass that was incomplete.
He
I
just
mean,
flat out dropped it.
he dropped it. He was thinking about running with it, the classic, thinking about running before he catch it, right? And then he dropped it, and
That was a
I
lucky
think that
break
would
for
have
the Lions.
that would have been a touchdown. I think if he had caught that right, but yeah, thankfully it only forced us. Almost that Sean White Ottawa field goal. What a nightmare that would be.
Oh boy.
Ward field goal. Yeah, Ward field goal. It was a short one for them, shorten the BC lead to 7-3, and then yeah, BC's second drive was also pretty productive. Starting from the 40, and then McInnes had a catch for 14. Stanback ran for 9 to help Work convert on short yardage, which I thought was interesting that Work is getting some short yardage reps here too, and not sending in a backup, or at least Mackey, to do it more often. But yeah, he did convert on that, and then Campbell did take a timeout in 2nd and 4 to prevent a delayed game penalty here.
And I hate that. It's 5 yards. The timeout is way more useful. It's 5 yards. At that point in the game, boohoo about 5 yards. Save the timeout. In the end, it didn't matter, but please, one day we're gonna do an episode and I'll deep dive into all my clock management stuff, and I hate that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Let's
either.
save that. Maybe we save that for the bonus episode. Like maybe
Oh,
I
that's
should
gonna be a
add.
bonus series.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I can add in a wheel just like things we hate about our team, or we hate about games, or just anything. Like I hate prevent defense the most, right? Just when you have a lead, and
Oh,
and
it's
it
not
feels
fun to
like,
watch, but yeah.
yeah. So yeah, eventually, yeah, after the timeout, McInnes did have a. I said McInnes was on fire so far. I mean, I put the so far.
Yeah.
He had a catch for 26, and well, yeah, he converted with yak yardage for 24, and then Hatcher unfortunately couldn't catch like a floating pass from Work to force a Sean White field goal to extend the lead 10-3. Then on Ottawa's ensuing drive, they went 2 and out. I mean, like we're stoked here, right? turn out, and then Williams returns to punt to the Ottawa 45, and we're like, okay, here we go.
Electric.
Here we go. We're
Good
gonna
field
we're gonna
goals.
blow them out of the
I
water
was
here.
watching the first quarter on the 49 bus, and I was just getting off the bus at that moment, and I messaged you guys. I'm like, I'm walking home, so I won't watch the next like 10 minutes or so. And right as I was leaving, on the corner of my phone, we had that Terry Williams run, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, when has this ever happened before? That was insane. You know, I thought
Yeah.
that was a turning point of things.
A,
Go
a,
on.
a lot of moments in this game felt like turning points for both teams, right? But I, I'll say what I think was the ultimate turning point in the game. But yeah, Williams returned the punt to the 45, like we're feeling good, and then Hatcher had his first catch for 9, but then BC gets called for procedure on
Yeah.
2nd and 6 to make it harder. But well, to make it harder for the offense, but they do end up working their way back to convert on certain short. And yeah, third and short. So we thought like, okay, this is prime time for like a good touchdown here. But Holland had a wide receiver sweep one, fail for a loss of 2, and then McKinnis only caught a short pass. To force third down at the end of the first quarter. Um, so Sean White comes out at the beginning of the second quarter, and this is where his streak ends at 47 because
46. This is where it was
of
blocked.
40,
And
yeah,
I have a comment about, yes, I think Ottawa was wrong to decline the no yards and give up the point, and I'll tell you why. This is a very nerdy thing to talk about, but if there's a no yards in the end zone, it gets applied from the 10-yard line. So what that means is they go to the 10-yard line, or they bring Ottawa to the 10-yard line and then apply the no yards. So that would have, with the 15, that would have meant Ottawa was at the 25. So essentially they gave up a point for 15 yards of field position, which if it was on the 1-yard line, I get it. But for 15 yards, I would not have done that. In the end, it didn't matter, but I'm not going to complain that the Lions got an extra point. But I don't think that was a good decision to do that.
yeah,
Good
their
point.
drive. I mean, I think their drive ended up not
The
not
the
mattering.
next drive didn't result in anything anyway because, Addison converted, he made a nice catch for about 30 yards.
So for 30, yeah.
But
And then
that
Wimes gets flagged for OPI, which the Discord hated. Because I was watching this game along with the Ottawa Senators Discord server or REDBLACKS fans, and at the end of the game they said like, oh, the refs are pretty bad in this game, and I said, oh, I saw
thought they've been
OPI
good.
here.
There were 2 OPIs in the game, and both of them, it's rarely called paired, but I thought both times they were right. This one, he clearly pushes the defender out of the way, which in the end, that's a 10,
Wimes, yeah.
yeah, that's a 10-yard penalty. And after Varga, he was tackled for a loss. Then Ottawa had to punt as a result. So I'm not
Yeah,
going to complain.
I was also going to say that I think that also would have been a touchdown catch for Wimes as well, had he kept going, like, but yeah, so yeah, the OPI pushes them back and forces them to punt, and then stand back, convert the first down one for 13, and then Ward gets sacked by Cleon Lang on first down for a loss of 4, and this interception by Warwick was like reminiscent of the last game where it was such bad decision where he threw it into triple coverage and it was underthrown too. So I mean, like,
Never
it
a
was
good
just
idea.
100% that was gonna be picked off, and it
The
was.
broadcasters were praising it as a good throw, but I'm like, no, there's 3 defenders there.
No.
That doesn't make, unless it's a Hail Mary at the end of the game, you don't do that.
No, it's just triple coverage. I mean, like, I mean, the only way to really to have a good pass result into triple coverage is if you just like gun that football through, like needling it through, right? Just
But even then, it's
a
still
straight
risky,
pass.
and I wouldn't recommend it. Even if it
Yeah,
works out, it's still not a good idea.
not a good idea.
And
And yeah,
that,
yeah, and then this was the moment where I thought, well, I think we're gonna lose this game, right? Just because. And then eventually just well, yeah, just Ottawa does score. I said they do complete the expected TD off a turnover to tighten the BC lead to 11-9 because Ackland caught a strike, but it was after but that TD was after it was almost intercepted by I think it was almost intercepted by Peters, like the
on
play
the
before
on the
that.
previous play. Yeah, he just couldn't
Yeah,
hold on to the pick,
couldn't hold on, and then immediately after it was a touchdown scoring line.
which you knew that was going to happen. But luckily, they missed the 2-pointer, so it was the Lions still had the lead,
Still
and
the
they got
lead, yeah.
a really good return again. Williams takes it to the 44, and
Hmm.
then
I
nothing
think the
happened.
next
Yeah, but
time
next.
we have a big Williams return in a game, we got to put that in bold because that doesn't happen very often.
Bold and red ink.
Yeah, as soon as William, I mean, I'm not gonna do any notes for a TDP game, right?
Yeah,
But
same.
I'll put it in red if it happens. Like I'll just
Yeah.
put like big
Notes sheet will
text
only be
William
that.
scores. Like,
That'd be something to laugh at amidst the
yeah.
darkness.
Yeah, and
Carry on.
yeah, on BC, yeah, on BC's ensuing drive after Ottawa's touchdown. Yeah, it was Williams returned it to the 44, and I mean, Stanback kind of starts off with a little run for 2 yards, and then Wark has an incredible 51-yard second down run. Like he was
Boy,
dodging dudes and just
it
we
feels good
we
to see
we
us say the word Rourke again. Like that hits
yeah,
different.
yeah,
Yeah,
like Wark, yeah, like but it's oh yes Wark instead of oh no,
Yes.
right?
That was an
Yeah,
oh yes
this
run,
was the oh
51
yes
yards.
moment, right? 51-yard magical one that reminded me a lot about Lule for sure in his prime years.
Yep.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, and you know they get in the red zone, but Stanback drops an easy touchdown pass, right? Like again, it was just like in the first quarter, or just like for Ottawa with the drop pass. I mean, you know, Ottawa gets off lucky here because Stanback could have had a TD pass here, but that does force Sean White to, you know, restart his streak here to kick a short field goal. We're looking for 50 more. We're looking for 50 this time, boy.
Yes, coming for you.
Yeah, we're looking for 50 this time. So yeah, yeah, you extend the lead to 14-9. So I mean, we still have a decent point advantage here. But then on Ottawa's ensuing drive, Brown to Williams converts for 30, and Ackland converts for 11, but Green intercepts Brown on a short throw that was run into his right to find a receiver. So, you know, Drew Brown was like running to his right, just trying to find someone, and then he just throws a bad pass to Green to get intercepted. And you know, normally we'd be even more stoked about that, but then a Lions misconduct penalty, and we'll get into misconduct penalties for Ottawa too, which I
Both
didn't like.
teams took way too many of those, which was frustrating.
Yeah,
And that put BC
yeah,
back to the 11. And then Rourke was intercepted on the next play. And I thought, oh my goodness, here I go again. But luckily, it hit the ground incomplete. And when we came back from the TV timeout, they reversed it to an incomplete pass, and the Lions were able to punt
fun.
as a
Which
result.
which Sen scored yeah, didn't agree with that, and I'm like, do you not have eyes? It clearly bounced on the
It
grass,
did
right?
bounce.
Yeah,
It
it
was
did.
so obvious in the
Yeah,
replay.
yeah.
So
I didn't
obvious that
think
even the
I
command
didn't think
center could tell.
yeah, I didn't think the command center was nearly as bad as they were saying it was. But again, I mean, I imagine in a loss they would have been even saltier about that. But
No, the command
yeah,
center they made calls against
got it
both.
right.
I thought they got it right for once. They've had a rough few weeks, maybe a few too many beers in the command center room. But today they got it right.
They
Too
did.
many Moscato wines. uh,
They're
um,
probably drinking Coca-Cola today instead, and that explains the difference.
yeah, I mean, coffee would
A
have
little
been
bit
even
of
better,
brain
right?
erosion.
Exactly.
Yeah. 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 Luckily, you know, BC was able to punt the ball away, and then Devman returned it to the BC 48, and then Obst just immediately on their first drive, I mean, he fumbled the ball for the Lions to recover it, right? And it was a crazy second quarter, right? I even said that in the chat too. It was just
Yeah.
uh,
We got
on
into
the
halftime call for once.
yeah,
Being
yeah, yeah, there was like a bunch of fumbles and interceptions, and it was just okay, calm down, guys, right? And I mean, it did kind of calm down in the third and fourth quarter for terms of turnovers, but yeah, here it's just all interception, fumble craziness happens as
That's a wild screen cap.
yeah, Lions recover the ball, and then Aberhart converts on a pass for 24. Hatcher converts a threaded pass, which I like seeing from work for 8. Hollins, but unfortunately, Hollins couldn't catch a wobbly pass, and then Knox blocks Rourke's pass to fourth White to kick a 35-yard field goal to extend the BC lead further to 17-9. I mean, there were missed opportunities for BC to really take advantage and go up by a bunch of points, right?
Yeah, but we were up 17-12 at the half.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, in the third quarter,
yes. Well, now I was gonna say 17-12. Lewis Ward kicked a field goal to end the
Yep.
half, right? Just
yeah.
first half. Yep.
In the second half, there was less to talk about. The first thing I remember coming back from the third quarter, 64-yard touchdown. Ottawa instantly took the lead,
Oh
and
my
like,
God,
great,
yeah.
that was
Instantly,
horrible. And then
yeah.
Rourke and then on the
And then a
next
2-point
play,
conversion. Yeah.
then they got the 2-pointer, and then immediately after that, we had a good return from Williams, but then Rourke fumbles the ball, and then this is where Ackland made a touchdown, or he got a touchdown, but Rick Campbell challenged the play for offensive pass interference, and it was correctly reversed. There was an obvious pick play, so that was called, and then Lewis Ward missed the field goal. It nicked the upright, so they didn't even get, instead of being up 27-17, it was 20-17
21-17.
because the touchdown came off the board and it
We
hit the
thought
upright.
if
And then
it was a touchdown, we thought the game was like dead and buried right there. That's
in the end, a little bit later, it did become 27-17, which
Mhm.
we'll talk about. The Lions went 2 and out after, Stanback made a good play, but then Rourke
Nice.
didn't get anything done. And then
Yeah,
this
on
is
Ottawa's drive, Dice had a challenging moment here where he challenged Peters on defensive pass interference on a hold to Ackland.
which I thought that was another pretty obvious one, and they were correct to reverse it.
Yep.
Unfortunate for the Lions, but it led to a touchdown from not Marner, Mardner.
Mardner, yeah.
I say that right.
that was as
We don't.
easy as it gets.
Yep.
Yeah, it felt way too easy. Like the defense was just letting off. I said Winnie was constantly getting burnt too, right? And
He really
well, I
was.
mean, there was also the first of 2 bench misconduct for Ottawa here.
Which that was applied on the kickoff, which let Williams take the kickoff back to the 47. And then unfortunately it didn't result in much for the Lions either, because, Rourke, he avoided a sack to Eberhardt, which was a good play to make 10 yards, but then he was incomplete again. And this is where Eberhardt made a really, really good play on third down. They decided to go for it at about midfield, 3rd and 7, I think it was.
That was a really risky gamble, right? That was a ballsy gamble.
I didn't agree with it, but it worked out. Eberhardt made the catch, fell down about a yard short of the stick, but because he was not touched, the play was still live, and he rolled far enough to get just past the sticks before he was touched. Like, really good knowledge of the rules, really good play there.
Really good field awareness. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Yeah,
he's a smart player.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping he has a touchdown or 2 for our next game. But
yeah, that would be fitting.
Yeah, Abraham, I'd say. I mean, even though the receiving core wasn't as good as we'd like it to be here, I still think Abraham still had some clutch. He has the clutch gene today, right? Just
and then
Hollins converted for 19, and then Couture gave us a heart attack by nearly fumbling, but he was down by
I knew he was down by
contact.
contact right away. Like, when I saw it in real time, I'm like, he's down 100%. And he was. They ruled him down. They didn't review it. It was good. And then that led to a touchdown from Mackey, his second one, 27-24. And then
on a very risky drive, right? Like there were a couple times where it was hair raising, but I got the job done. I mean, this was one of those games where it felt like BC's offense. It feels like they're going through war to score touchdowns, and in Ottawa it's easy to score touchdowns against our defense, right? So
it did feel like war.
It sure
did. We had our war memes before the game between Sandscourt and us. But the war was with us in the touchdown, the end zone. So
on me.
And then that was basically the end of the third quarter. Otto made a good kickoff return, and that was about it for the third quarter. And then the fourth quarter was what there wasn't really a lot to get super excited about. The Lions did keep it close,
Yeah,
False
no,
hope.
there was three things in this fourth quarter. One, near the start of the fourth quarter, on Ottawa's ensuing drive. Well, I mean, it led to the touchdown, but slightly before that, Ackland caught a ball. I mean, he caught it in the air. He had his legs turned out from on. He did a little flip, and then he landed like really hard into the turf. Um, and well, I mean, his catch was ruled incomplete because the ball kind of snuck out, but he laid down there for 15 minutes, right? And it was scary seeing him injured,
That
and we
was
hope he's all
horrible.
right.
I
Right?
had thought there's a possibility they were gonna call the game because they brought the ambulance. That's the I realize I haven't watched a ton of football games there, but that was the first time I had ever seen an ambulance come out for a CFL game. You always see like a golf cart or something, but they flat out put him straight in the ambulance. And I'm sure the truck or the ambulance drove straight out onto the street. That stadium's on a busy street. I'm sure a hospital's not too far away, but we wish him all the best,
Yeah, we do.
and we hope to see him back soon.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely not for the next game, but yeah, I mean, he was definitely a very key contributor to Ottawa's offense. And I mean, yeah, it's a shame that, his game was cut short here. I mean,
It was just a hard
we hope he
hit,
still gets. Yeah,
his
he
legs were
just
taken
fell
out
on
from
the
under
turf
him.
really. Yeah, he fell on the turf really hard, and just one of those injuries that you
Neck.
can't really plan for, at least, or just one of those injuries that nobody that thought it was just a freak accident, right? Or just
Yeah. But last
One
I
that you
heard, he
never want to
was he
see.
was conscious in the hospital. All
Yep.
his extremities, as they say, were moving. So
I heard
that's
that on the
really, really good.
TSN call. Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that yep.
So
Yeah,
that was
again,
good.
yeah, again, we hope he's doing all right in the hospital, but
Hope
yeah,
to see
there's
him back on
still
the field soon, but I kind of
there's still
that might be it for his season realistically.
Yeah.
perhaps, but we'll
I'm not a
see. I
doctor,
mean,
obviously, but certainly
neither
will not
are
be
us.
next
No.
week.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's still a football game to be played. I mean, yeah, everybody was kind of stunned. There was a sack on Brown
Like the
on
very next play, the
yeah.
Lions got a second thought, you know what? The delay, we don't want it to happen, but it helps us out. We get a sack, great. We're gonna force them off the field. We're gonna go win this game. But no, illegal contact.
Illegal contact, and it forces them on the 6-yard line, and
And then the
Crum eventually
touchdown.
converts for the touchdown on short yardage on third down to extend the lead to 34-24. And I was very close to just ending my note taking here. I mean,
That
I
ended up being the game-winning score too.
this game winning score, but I mean, I was very nearly stopping my note taking, but no, it was after Williams returning the ball to the 44, and Ward gets strip sacked for another fumble. Right,
And there was
that
about
was
5 minutes
when I was
left.
gonna.
We all
Yeah,
gave
that
up.
was.
But
Yeah,
then,
that was. But then
But then
Armstead proceeds to fumble to give the ball back to BC,
which
and
I
then the offense started converting a bunch, right? But yeah,
which I thought
that
that
was.
was interesting. I thought Armstead, he only held the ball barely long enough for it to be not called an incomplete pass. If that was called an incomplete pass on the field, it wouldn't have been a fumble. So Lions got lucky on that one.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean,
Inconclusive to reverse it. So,
yeah,
good that the command center didn't intervene.
yeah, with another one, and it was another one of those weird, just back-to-back turnovers happening, right? It was sequence, but in this case, it was. Yeah, again, BC gets the ball back. I mean, yeah, they get it down the field, and the offense was looking good here. I mean, it was just enough to let Sean White tighten the lead to 34-27 on a field goal, and I was
I know
hoping
there
for a
was
touchdown.
discussion about whether the Lions should have got the broadcast. They talked about whether the Lions should have gone for it there, but I agree with the decision to get the points. You need 2 scores, take one.
Yeah, the easier
The
pointers.
defense should have been able to get the ball. Like there was more than 2 minutes left. They should have been able to make a stop there, but unfortunately they couldn't. And
Yeah, Ottawa's offense clutched it out here with Addison and Armstead converting on first down. I mean, again, it was just the bad zone coverage. Like it's just. I mean, we actually had that kind of a win against Winnipeg, the first game, right, where BC, you know, they clutched it out with a drive like that too, right? And now it's getting thrown back at us, right? And it's yeah, Addison and Armstead converted on first down to really
That
like,
put it away. Once they
ice
got
this
that last
win.
first down, I shut the TV off.
Yeah, that last first. Well, I didn't shut the TV off. I left it on until like zeros happened. Like if Ottawa gonna screw it up again with another bench minor, because again they were hooting and hollering, right, and they were being like
Yeah, but they're not gonna,
winners.
call objectionable conducts at that point to like basically, that's the only Lions would win. Like that's not gonna happen. So in the
Yeah,
end it
I
went to 34-27 final. BC lost, as far as I know, that's the first time they've lost 5 in a row in 13 years, which is a
so
long time. 13 years ago, we were all very
and
different people. But we
Since
also
and
know
what
what happened.
year?
I was gonna say, and Ottawa finally beats BC at home for the first time since September 7th of 2018.
That
I
was
So
forgot
6
about that
years.
as well.
I'm
But
sure, the Ottawa fans. I mean, like diehard Ottawa fans were sick of losing to BC often, right? And yeah,
yeah, well,
I,
it
I,
happened.
I remember certain BC wins that was like it was very boring offensively, right? Like
The
it,
Lions won a
it was
game in Ottawa 7-5 one year.
one
And
year,
I
yeah,
and I
it was in a
remembered
storm, yeah.
I remember I think it was Moj and Julio on the radio broadcast back on TSN 1040. They were so angry after that game. They were like, "This
I'm
is
a
the worst Lions game I've ever seen. This was horrible." And they won.
I
And
watched that game while I was having dinner in the old spaghetti factory, actually, for
I
my
remember watching
birthday.
it at the McDonald's right next to Science World, and
That
it was
one.
horrible. Like, but they won.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad we didn't do a podcast for we didn't have a podcast back then, not in the bad years, right? If it's just or in the average years, it
but
would
to
have
me,
been
a
even
win
more
is a win is a win.
frustrating.
If the
Yeah.
Lions win a game 1-0 on a punt rouge from 50 yards away, I'm happy
Oh,
that they won.
yeah.
I know
Objectively, it's happy, but yeah,
it'd be a boring game to talk about, but if they win 1-0, they win 1-0, and I'll take it.
yeah. But unfortunately, this was an exciting game at points, right? But it's an exciting loss to end it up, right? Just um, yeah,
I
Ottawa goes to
guess
7-2-1, and then BC crashes to under 500 at 5-6, and now versus third in the West, right?
I feel
yeah,
like
Because
Ottawa lost
half a
their
game out
first
of
two
first,
games
but
as
third in
well.
the West. Yeah,
They've been on a tear. But yeah, we've
yeah,
come crashing down.
it was just really, again, it's just another disappointing loss. I mean, I'm kind of I am willing to use the Moai thumbnails again, but I'm gonna use another crying lot of sad lion one, right?
until we start winning.
I really hope you can
I'm
use that Nathan Rourke picture.
Oh yeah, well we'll use maybe we can use like the Nathan Rook picture that we have saved up for if he gets like 400 plus yards of
Yeah,
offense,
I
right?
need a big game for that.
Yep. Um. Yeah. So yeah. Again, just a really another disappointing loss in a string of them. I mean, we're getting real sick of August so
Oh
far.
yeah.
I mean, the touchdown Pacific game is like our last hope. Literally on
Got
the
to
last day
salvage
of
the
the month
month.
is our last hope.
Get back to 500 for the stretch run. I guess we
Yep.
should move on and briefly discuss the games
Yeah, we've got
from like
not too much
Saskatchewan,
time left.
Toronto went back
Y-
and forth. Ultimately, the big controversy coming this that actually has literally gotten international attention is that Toronto wins the game on a
on
rouge,
a rouge
the
off,
missed
yeah.
field goal
On a
that just goes through
rouge.
the end zone. I think we can talk. I think this is something we should fix as a topic for our bye week episode. So
Yes.
I'm not going to reveal my opinion there, but it is very strong and it is very stubborn. So you'll want to wait on that one.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I can't wait to find out what opinions we have about Rouge's on missed field goals. But yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not like it happens very often, right? It doesn't happen
No,
very
it
often
doesn't.
where you have no.
But when
Usually, a team scores a field goal to win the game, right?
yeah,
9 times out of 10, it's just the odd one time where it's like, task failed successfully.
pretty much just
Yeah,
yeah, there you
yeah.
go.
And
Then
then the yesterday's game that was
Hamilton and Winnipeg, that was a good game back and forth. Hamilton was
yeah,
leading right up until the end when Winnipeg came through with a clutch touchdown drive at the end, which you kind of knew that was going to happen. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
it would have been nice for Winnipeg to drop that, but we don't count on the Tiger-Cats to do anything. So, and then
Yeah.
the
Well, yeah,
next game
tomorrow's game
tomorrow, yeah.
we'll cover it a little bit in our after our TDP episode, but for a recap. But yeah, tomorrow's game will be an important one for Edmonton for sure. I mean, they're on the road against Montreal. They've seen Saskatchewan and BC lose and Winnipeg win. So I mean, it's an even playing field now, and Calgary's on the bye week. So if Edmonton is going to get back into the playoff conversation, they have to do like a Herculean effort to beat Montreal, right?
But stranger things have
do.
happened, and it theoretically could happen. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. It's been a wild season. I guess we can probably save our preview for next week's games until next week because despite playing on Saturday, next week's Touch and Pacific game is the first game of the week. So I would say we
Fair
can save
enough.
our previews until then.
I think we can do that
Yeah,
and more so just talk about that game because I know we were going to do that a little bit briefly
Yeah,
because we're
yeah,
all going to be there. That'll be
we
the
will
first
be.
time we see each other this year, all three
It
of us
will.
in person.
Yeah, it will.
yeah. If there's any viewers of ours that are following us along the whole way through, and that if they want to meet us, we'll be in Victoria. All of
We'll
us
be
will be in
part.
Victoria.
Signing autographs.
Yeah, not the first time I've signed autographs. I've been in a movie, so
There you
uh
Oh, you
go.
yeah.
did, yeah.
X-Files movie. Yeah, it was fun, but
I know you
yeah,
talked about it in our bi-week episode.
yeah, yeah, the bye-week up they had a fun one where I just revealed that to the world. But
I'm
I was in an X-Files movie once.
I'm just really
No
excited
big.
for what the Lions have planned next week. Like they have the whole festival going on Thursday and
Yeah,
They're bringing the Grey Cup down. They've got
They're bringing the Grey Cup down.
an open
I'm
practice in Langford, which side note, they should have done the game in Langford. There's a perfectly capable stadium there. They didn't need to waste
mhm.
taxpayer money building another stadium when they had a perfectly
on a
capable
baseball
one there.
stadium. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Um,
kind of
but
weird, right? But
it is what it is.
It is
So there's
weird,
an open
yeah.
practice there. Then they've got the Grey Cup itself going to be there on Friday for autographs and pictures, which that's always
Two
exciting,
o'clock. Yeah, my
especially for the
ferry
kids.
arrives
yeah,
right
you're gonna
before
have to
that,
be
so I'll
there
try
for
and
us.
make it there.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
I
have to
will.
be there for us to see the Grey Cup in like the flesh, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
want to lift the Grey Cup, but they're not going to let me do that. But
And
I
then
hope they
on
do.
Saturday, they've got the backyard watch party and then the game itself. And then they're having an after party at Sticky Wicket, which is a pretty famous pub in downtown Victoria. So
Is it?
it'll be
You
very
know,
busy.
you know the place more than us.
Yeah, I've been to it a few times. In my opinion, the food's not that good. I
Okay.
personally think it's overrated. Watch them come at me.
Yeah, so you're not like the
You got your
on-tap guys
spots.
who yeah, you're not like the on-tap guys who are just every restaurant they go to for recording. Like, hi, if you're watching this, Mausha.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I will give
yeah,
my opinion. My opinion is they're overrated.
Okay. Good
yeah,
to
every
know.
every restaurant they go to, they love the food there. I mean, yeah, they have great experiences every time, but I
Yeah.
know we'll have a pretty good experience in this game at
Oh, we
least. So
will.
I hope so. If they, I mean, especially if they win, right? Because
Especially if they win, get back to 500 and send us
That's
off into a good Labor Day
incredible to
weekend.
see.
I
yeah,
know
and I
Win or
it's
lose,
think
super
we want them to
depressing.
win, but I'm here to have a fun weekend because I know they're putting on a show all
yeah,
weekend. So
I,
Absolutely.
I'll probably be there around. I mean, I leave uh, Sawasan by like 9, so I guess I'll probably be on the island by noon or so. So I'll be
About noon, yeah,
probably
based on traffic and stuff. Because you're coming in
yeah,
hopefully
the
we can.
day of coming in the day of the game, right?
yeah. I'm coming in on the day of the
Okay,
game. Yeah,
so
so yeah,
you'll get to your hotel at like noon, 12:30-ish. The traffic will probably be heavier. I know they're running extra ferries that day. They're running a ferry later than usual on Saturday night after the game, which I think is smart.
yes,
And yeah,
We'll be
yeah.
able to
There's a
see you
lot
for
of yeah.
lunch
There's
that
a lot
day.
of there's a lot of
absolutely.
demand for ferries. For the last bit of the holiday weekend before school starts back up, which I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about.
You know where we will not be
Passing the
going for
torch on to
lunch
me.
is the Sticky Wicket.
Okay,
Hmm.
noted. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Um.
said before we started, no, maybe when we were recording. Where did you have lunch today,
Me?
Jacob?
Bin 4. They're very good.
Okay. Yeah, you
Yeah.
recommended that to us earlier, so maybe we'll
Yeah.
we'll take a look there.
Just
Yeah.
don't show any of my Victoria friends this podcast because they will come for my head when they see
Okay.
I'm publicly ripping the sticky wicket.
Insider
we don't really
info.
have it. Yeah, it's funny because I don't really have anything to whip on in Port Moody for restaurants or anything, right? I think it's I think it's mostly known for breweries, right? But I
Great
don't
brewers.
really, yeah,
I might head up there one
I don't
day.
really drink, so
There you go.
but yeah, so yeah, yeah, me and Hammer will, I mean, Hammer's gonna be there a little bit, like before, like the day before, right? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I'll be
Jacob,
on
I
the
hope
day of the
maybe we'll see
game.
you there.
Yeah, hopefully that you should.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else, or
yeah,
should I give our
and
socials and we'll call it a day?
I just
no,
wanted to say,
well,
like,
no, oh yeah,
well, for
yeah,
the last couple months, we've been saying, oh, we'll plan everything closer to the date of Touchdown Pacific. And it's pretty surreal that it's just a week away. So
I know,
I'm
time is
just a week
excited.
flying by.
away.
Me too.
Yeah,
Wow.
we'll get planning. It'll be
We
fun.
will.
Yeah, and I'll also say that during the game, I think I proposed, like before we recorded, I proposed a radical concept for us in terms of how special this game is to us. We'll be posting shorts for the first time, at
Yes,
least
it'll be fun.
if there's a game-winning field goal to be had, or just an important touchdown that's about to happen, and all three of us are going to have like different recording angles of it. It's going to be great, right? If it happens.
That'll be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, if no such situation happens, I mean, I'll still be recording or taking pictures.
Of course, yeah.
And there's going to be I'll be posting on the community tab about a group picture, because that's what we usually do in front of section 214 back in BC Place. Right?
So we'll figure something. We'll figure something out for this game.
Yeah, there's no section 214 for this setup, but we'll find a way to get a halftime photo.
We love
So
our iconic sections.
There we go.
yeah. Oh yeah, and
Jacob, section
also
17.
Absolutely.
yeah, and also one more thing. We're not gonna be doing a post game episode like after the game. I'm gonna wait until me and Hammer get home to
Oh yeah.
record. So that episode will probably drop on September the 1st
or the 2nd. We'll see.
Or the 2nd. Yeah, we'll see how
it goes.
the uploading goes. Yeah, so it'll be a little bit later than usual, but yeah. I was hoping I would be able to do like a kind of a recording in like a hotel room or something, right? Just all three of us.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
That would have been the
travel setup and all that, but gonna be easier for us to do it at home.
Absolutely.
It's easier for me to do it at home. Yeah.
After.
Yeah. Maybe one. Yeah. So yeah, that's really what our announcements will be for TDP. So I guess Jacob will throw to you for socials.
Yep, as usual on Twitter and Instagram, we are at section 214 pod on YouTube, sorry, at section 214 BC Lions podcast, and our email is sectiontwoforteen@gmail.com. There you go.
And same with Instagram, and yeah, so yeah, again, we'll see you at Victoria in a week's time, and I mean, hopefully we'll see you in Victoria in a week's time, and of course, podcast episode will come on either the 1st or the 2nd. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. I mean, even though I really wish it could have been in better circumstances, but we'll be screaming our heads off for Lions.
We will.
Sure will.
Yeah,
guys, be loud.
Absolutely.
Yeah, war you Lions roar. Okay,
yeah.
so yeah, that'll be it for us tonight. So yeah, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Peace.